I was pushed by an elderly woman. We were heckled at, we were cursed at, we were mocked.
The Kamala Harris campaign has yet to apologize or even address the situation between Grant and Luke, the two gentlemen who yelled out Jesus is King, and we have their interview, by the way. We will go look at the highlights with that, but still, the silence is deafening. I mean, go fact check this yourself. As you type in Jesus is Lord, Kamala rally, you would expect there's news articles everywhere. There's literally nothing. Only Fox News seems to be the only major publication talking about this. And exactly what I thought would happen and really predicted in my last video, you had these random publications saying, Kamala Harris Antichrist, bizarre claim surface after Wisconsin rally. As you sift through the 1 and 2 articles like this, they will say, well, there's no real verification that this video is true, or try to dismiss the authenticity of this video. However, even before the two gentlemen whose interview we're about to watch told their side of the story, we actually did have a third independent video going just as viral as this event, so everyone was very comfortable, to include myself, to verify the legitimacy of this story.
I want to bring up, this is our first time taking an interview with anybody, and I think it's important because this is our raw, like, untold story. There's a lot that happened off camera that we said at the protest, while we were protesting. And I guess we could start off with after she talked about overturning Roe v. Wade and Donald Trump. I yelled out to the crowd that abortion is the sacrament of Satan. And when I said that, I deeply do believe that as a Christian. And about 10 seconds go by, and that's when the video of my friend Grant and I proclaiming that Christ is Lord and Jesus is King, when we said that.
Okay, so this is very important because I do think that eventually Kamala Harris will be bullied into a corner into which she will have to respond to all of this. So make sure you understand, if you do watch this video, this is the first time these two gentlemen are actually talking about what's happening. And when you have these random articles like this saying we can't verify anything or we don't really know what's happened, I actually think this is quite the testimony to the two gentlemen who went there to protest. They weren't even trying to publicize themselves. They weren't trying to make TikToks. They weren't trying to make YouTube videos. All of the mass promotion really came from people like myself, from a bunch of TikTok creators, from Fox News. They are not looking for any fame and glory. They were simply just trying to protest and project the name of Christ in the middle of this rally, which they do have the right to.
And I think it's important to say this is a small venue, and we were about 20 to 30 yards away from Kamala at this point. There's a lot of controversy that says she wasn't talking to us, or we left, we didn't get kicked out. Well, I can speak on Grant and I's behalf. On video, Grant's getting pushed and shoved, and there's about 5 seconds after or before she tells us to go to the smaller rally down the street. You can see on the video she waves. She was actually waving to me. I took this cross off my neck that I wear, and as we were getting asked to leave, I held it up in the air and waved at her and pointed to her, and she looked directly in the eye, kind of gave me an evil smirk.
Okay, so I never really understood why this was so important as to why Kamala said, go to the smaller rally down the road. But now that I really think about it, when I meditate on this, you need to understand this is just another lie from the Kamala party to make fun of smaller rallies, to show how big and great her rallies are. But again, even from the third-party sources and from the main sources themselves who got kicked out, they are even stating this rally only had about 25 to 2,700 people. We go to this university. It was in our gymnasium. This was not a big rally to begin with. So again, this is just another attempt to try and make herself look amazing and great. And again, if you are a Christian, you know that pride and ego is one of the worst sins, if not the worst sin, as proclaimed in the Bible.
Attendees there, volunteers that kicked us out with badges or whatever they had. And I specifically remember this one man saying, "You were uninvited and unwelcome to this event. You need to leave." And all they did was walk us out the door. They didn't tell us why. No cops escorted us out. No Secret Service. And yeah, that's our story.
Again, this is super relevant to the story because maybe for the first time ever, the Christian has the ability to actually tell their side of the story and their narrative before it gets all twisted. Again, I'm actually really surprised, and I waited some time to give the Kamala Harris campaign literally time to respond to all of this and maybe give her a chance to say, I am sorry, because we are to forgive. Not only say I am sorry, but maybe I was even going to give her the benefit of the doubt of, I couldn't hear him, I apologize, but still, like I stated before, the silence is deafening, and there's absolutely nothing from their party or really any other mainstream media who's more left-leaning, if you will.
It's important that we get our message out in any way possible. First of all, we didn't really intend on, going at any people. People online were calling us MAGA fascists. That was never our intention going to this rally. We were only here to protest our faith, and we did so. We never expected this to grow as large as it was. Essentially, she was speaking, and we decided to say, Christ is King, Jesus is Lord. And we got a lot of backlash.
Okay, so it needs to be said, even on the Christian, Catholic, Orthodox, all sides of Christianity side of things, there was still a lot of backlash within the Christian camp yelling at these two gentlemen as in like, you shouldn't be out there causing chaos. She's one of our leaders. We're to pray for our leaders. Why are you interrupting her? Again, there is that side of the story that's really being a little underrepresented, and I want to make sure that is put out there. It's not only anti-Christians, atheists, agnostics, whatever. It's also Christians within the Christian camp yelling at these two gentlemen. Now, as far as the legitimacy of this story, I have provided you the actual evidence, the third-party evidence, and the lack of response from the Kamala Harris campaign as far as how much the story has blown up in the Christian conservative space. This is a massive story as far as Christians are concerned. Again, for the Catholic and Orthodox, all sides of Christianity seem to be really upset about this, and it is crazy to me that the mainstream media is not talking about this. I think we would have a totally different story here if these two gentlemen were filming it, being really ridiculous, were trying to create TikToks, and then did post interviews being like, look, we got beat up, look what happened to us. None of that. In fact, they even took a very long time to respond, and if it wasn't for Fox News or other independent parties, we wouldn't even know what's going on. So again, make sure you guys are liking. I'm really curious to see what you all have to say about this. I'm trying to be as not biased as possible. I am a professing Christian, but to me, as somebody who reports the news, I am mostly shocked into how Kamala Harris has not commented on this. Because look, if you're Christian or not Christian, the Christian vote is like one of the biggest votes you can get in America. It accounts for a massive percentage of Christians. And the fact that she was caught mocking and laughing and these two got kicked out, that's also a really bad look for the Kamala Harris campaign.